Let's go!
Dude, our offense is looking really good, bro.
Colbie Young is a catch, if you ask me. Get it? Catch? Because he was fishing? This guy, a lot of you have told me with our first couple of wide receiver videos, you think he is the alpha. So that was, I believe, Colbie Young's first snap of the game. So this Georgia wide receiver room, like we mentioned in the Thomas and Branch film studies, it's crowded, right? You have a little RPO action. Safety does fill right here into the box. So Carson Beck wants to throw the football right into here. Wide receiver coaches, please correct me if I'm wrong. Does Young do a good enough job selling vertically here to really press this DB? I don't know. But this DB is able to drive down on the ball really well. That is pass interference. They didn't call it. And, well, it is a missed target. A little later into the game, and this is what Colbie Young will bring to this iteration of this Georgia offense. We talked about Noah Thomas, him being one of the better red zone receivers you'll see. I do think Thomas is slightly better in this aspect, but once again, you see the frame right here. It does remind you of a former number 8. Who played wide receiver at Georgia. So really good throw, really good catch. So one area where Colbie Young can improve is just making tougher contested catches. So here he is running an in-breaker, a nice little dig over the middle on this 2nd and 9. It does get cut off here, but obviously Carson Beck works backside to the dig, and this ball is actually delivered really well. So you can see Colbie Young does not generate really any separation. This Clemson DB is very good. And the ball was still perfectly located, and he drops it. Now, this is where the Colbie Young evaluation gets very awkward, if you will. So you see a really good catch. We'll give you a better angle of this here in just a moment. But the truth is, it was really hard for him to get in a rhythm. So he had those few breakout plays like you saw in the Clemson game. And then in the next P4 game versus Kentucky, he was only on the field for 7 pass snaps. And also in this game versus Alabama, he really wasn't a part of the early offensive game plan. So they slowly work him in, and he was a big part of this fourth quarter in this valiant comeback attempt. So obviously, I do think this catch right here had more to do with 9 not playing the football as well as he did, but obviously his frame just gives him such a big advantage on these types of plays. Even though this wasn't really a contested jump ball type of catch, his frame just, when the ball is in the air, just creates natural separation. So one thing I really like is Colbie Young has played a murderer's row of corners, right? Damani Jackson is actually a good but not elite corner. 4th and 2, game on the line. Guess what? He delivers in a massive way to keep everything alive. And you'll see it right here. Once again, you'll never confuse him for Justin Jefferson or an A.J. Green level route runner, but he doesn't rush too much. You can see he's at a slight leverage disadvantage. It looks kind of sort of straight up, but you could see he gets him reaching, and that is just really, really, really good stuff right there by Colbie Young. Love to see it. All right, we go to a little bit later into this drive, and for the life of me, I never quite understood why this was not pass interference. Obviously, 2 is a fine player for Alabama, one of their younger DBs, and to me, obviously this throw isn't the best, but that right there is PI, right? Not even playing the football at all. And then we get to the single most complicated rep here. Once again, not the absolute best throw. You tip your hat to the DB. A lot of you Georgia fans already know what's about to happen. But I do think Young as a jump ball receiver is good, not elite. And in this spot, it does seem a little casual, if you ask me, as he is looking at this ball into the air. And he just kind of floats behind Brown. I think he could have done a far more physical, hand-fighting, body fighting, I guess you could say Shaquille O'Neal box out type of situation here. I just think at the very least, a more competitive effort right here forces an incompletion. The one thing we cannot do is let the DB catch his football to end the game. And you tell me, once again, he just kind of floats, gets behind, totally mistimes his jump, and it's not as if he's not looking back at the football. I mean, he's looking at the QB. I just think the moment got a little too big for him right there. If you go to our Gunner Stockton film study, you will see that this was one of his better throws, a comeback to Arian Smith to get the Texas drive going, or one of those Texas drives going. Look at that separation. That is really, really, really good stuff. Obviously, the DBs were playing really soft. I would like, we talked about Lee, number 4 in our last episode. I would have liked to have seen that tackle get broken, but still good stuff. This right here from Colbie. Are you freaking kidding me, Mr. CY? Absolutely, positively brilliant, brilliant, brilliant stuff from Colbie. Carson Beck throws up a jump ball right here. It is pinned really close to the sideline, and we get a Nick Walinda act right here from Colbie Young to get his foot inbound. I mean, look at this. I mean, you see the true potential, the length, all of those things, catching the football at its highest point and getting 1 foot inbounds. That is redunculous stuff right there from Colbie. So I want to give you one of the more bizarre stats between Colbie Young and Noah Thomas, and I know I've compared those two throughout this video because I do feel they play very similar roles. It doesn't mean they can't be on the field at the same time, but both have the same amount of 100-yard receiving games, but they're in two completely different capacities. You see an absolutely ridiculous one-hand catch here. Colbie Young had 2 100-yard games in his first 3 games at Miami. So he was a 2020 high school recruit. He took a year off COVID gap year. Then in 2021, went to Lackawanna Community College. And then in year 3 of his career, once again, this is 2022, the dude comes out and looks literally like Andre Johnson. I mean, we'll show you a few clips. We'll show you this one. It's very fascinating where Noah Thomas, his best football really came towards the end of his Texas A&M career. Another thing that's interesting is that he is lined up mostly to the outside in his career. And I would like to potentially see Georgia use him as a big slot. So Tyler Van Dyke sees that he has a matchup here versus a linebacker, and while getting hit, he puts this ball right on the money for Young to do what he does best, which is make difficult catches in the red zone. And this was his second 100-yard game from a few years ago. And this honestly is something that Georgia runs quite a bit. It's like a same-side flood concept. Lawson Lucky had a big one versus Clemson in this role. So deep vertical secondary option right here. And then, of course, it's honestly your primary, but it's the second level of this read. And then you have a guy running into the flat. So you get the play action game going. And watch this right here. Once again, Tyler Van Dyke, a really good pocket quarterback when given time. And he throws an absolute rocket right here. Boom. And he's able to make the catch while also getting hit low. How is he going to work alongside Noah Thomas and Zachariah Branch? I don't know. Maybe Georgia fans, I'm a little bit higher on Dylan Bell than most. Let me know if I should just give up on Dylan Bell because he is back yet again for another year. He's such a different player than any of the 3 names that we mentioned. And then, of course, you have Humphreys and everyone else. And obviously the biggest of which is the Gunner Stockton domino. But Colbie Young will have a role. He's a physical specimen. I mean, this clip looks like Josh Gordon level stuff, but I just don't know how special of an athlete he actually is. And I do think some Georgia fans are overrating his potential. But let me know what you guys think down below. I do think it's pretty clear for me who the number 1 producer is going to be and we talked about them quite a bit today. Boom, that video is floating in your face along with some other studies we have recently done, and we'll talk to you soon, okay? It is Power Hour SEC. Boom! Tonight, we are doing some fried chicken. Let's go.